It's not because of the matrix, it's just that you are now changing. When your karmic baggage starts dropping, you start becoming less heavy. Your awareness also starts expanding. It's not the awareness where you are able, it's like your awareness can also include a little more of the non-physical portions, and the newness comes in.
So every experience, like if I go to a mall which I visited, I don't know how many times, I'll go and I'll say, oh, I've never been to this mall. It just feels, everything feels new at every.
That's because you are also forgetting old things. Because our memory is now getting restructured. There is a lot of memory that karmic baggage keeps in place. When the karma drops, memory gets restructured. And so the same place looks new, or it's like I've never been here, whereas
yes,
you have been there.
So many, every time it's like a new thing. If I go to the railway station, I don't know where to go because it is
Yeah, that's the reason.
The other experience that I'm having is I'm never present. I'm always lost. You really have to pinch me for me to feel that I exist. I have no feeling of being present. I'm just dragging myself or just going on with life, that's all.
That's why God says somehow complete the life. There is not much left in the life. So this will be a common thing. Another thing will be boredom. Another thing will be loss of passion. Another thing will be loss of direction. Another thing will be not able to connect with people the way you were able to connect with earlier. Another thing will be whatever people are interested in, you do not find that same interest, because of which conversation becomes difficult. You can manage for 5-10 minutes with people, but after that you are like you don't know how to drag the conversation. So these are all the symptoms of only one thing: karmic baggage getting discharged, the baggage going down. And if you think too much, then you will start getting probably scared even. So best not to think about all these things.
But how not to think, sir? But this doesn't happen for everyone, sir. Not for everyone.
Family members will be disturbed because they are finding you to be different. You don't engage with them the way you were engaging before, and the way they were able to understand you, they are not able to understand the new you, and that makes them a little bit or maybe to a great extent not liking the situation. And then they feel that you have gone into the wrong path or to the wrong place, or you must not be too much into the unknown. So of course, if the whole family is into it, not much of a problem, but if one person is in it, the other persons will not like it. So this is what is happening.
So loss of memory is causing lots of problems.
It's not problems, it's just that you learn to live in a whole new way.
So a few days back, I myself kept the key in the usual place, and I forgot, and I made everybody look for it. And they were like, you tend to forget normal things. Is there anything that can be done, sir?
No, nothing can be done.
So I've started telling people I have very short memory. I keep telling people, I have very short memory, I don't remember. So just one thing, in continuation to what I was saying, the challenge is it's becoming very difficult to deliver or to conduct oneself towards you know, the day-to-day responsibilities, activities, job, it's getting very difficult even to do that.
You are not able to do the work assignments?
I am totally lost. I sit there and then you know what happens, like if somebody is speaking, especially I'm coming back to Japan work after 4 years. I don't understand, then I have to, you know, go back, listen to the recording, or I have to tell them, oh, can you repeat, because my sound quality had gone bad. So it's very difficult for me to focus and to I'm lost most of the times.
You can only pray to God. Other than that, there isn't much we can do now. But we are becoming dysfunctional, that is true.
So any releasing for that?
Not releasing, just telling God ki whatever day-to-day responsibility I have, if I can do it with ease.
So book में भी है ये.
Yeah, just pass the mic. Oh, Sadhana, you want to say something?
So also like what you were saying, the mind doesn't, because when you find everything new and you're forgetting everything, and you have to think so hard to remember, because people get upset, or it can also create anxiety, you know, because you are not knowing what to do. Everybody is putting pressure, like you're this, you're that. Can create anxiety because you try so hard to be present.
First thing, understand that you are living in the grace of God, and in the grace of God there is no need for anxiety. The best is, in these circumstances, just tell to God, please take care, and then do your best. Not like you are being casual. You are completely committed. You are completely looking into what needs to be done, but also let God do the rest. But God is not going to forward your ego, and ego says things must happen like this, coming from the old expectations. God is not going to maintain that. Just pass the mic behind. Acha. God is not going to maintain that. That also you must understand. But at the same time, God will maintain just enough that you can get by day-to-day living. And our journey, human journey now has no meaning. Neither we are producing food for the king, but we are producing food for the lower ones.
But sir, you said that after we die, king will still feed on this live food? No. This is what you said.
No,
once I asked you.
I said that as long as you are alive, you will create food for the lower ones in the hierarchy, but we are no more creating food for the king. Which means our etheric body will not go to the king.
So I've realized that
हाँ, मानसी, yes.
मैं बहुत मुंहफट हो गई हूँ. अब जो भी मेरे दिमाग में होता है मैं वही बोलती हूँ और वही करती हूँ. And and sometimes I blurt out stuff जो मैं शायद कभी नहीं बोलती पहले. And I've tried looking for shortcuts. तो कोई भी काम जो मुझे लगता है कि इतनी मेहनत करके और इतना सर खपा के क्यों करना है, उसको मैं बिल्कुल I try to cut down. और कभी-कभी ऑफिस में मुझे लोग देखते हैं और कहते हैं तुम्हारे पास काम नहीं है, ज़्यादा लगता है. पर सीरियसली अब मुझे लगता है कि why पहले मैं हर चीज़ के लिए ना इतना सोचती, अभी भी कभी-कभी होता है वो अटैक्स, और फिर मैं गॉड रिलीज करती कि गॉड प्लीज हेल्प मी.
But your boss and others, are they complaining about your work not being done?
My boss asks me कि तुम्हारे पास काम नहीं है तो और काम देता हूँ, because I try to make my work faster, and I try. जो ज़रूरत नहीं है, I have started trimming it out.
But that does not worry your boss?
I guess it does. पर मैं क्या करूँ? But अब I can't change myself to follow their tunes, and it becomes very difficult.
No, but are they okay with it?
अभी तक तो कभी-कभी नहीं पता, अभी अप्रेजल होगा तब पता चलेगा. So yes, अभी देखते हैं.
Okay.
Thank you.
But are you enjoying the new you?
I love this.
बस फिर कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं
कभी
है.
कभी ना लगता है कि वापस उसी पैटर्न में चली गई हूँ. And then again releases करके I think and then I'm back. But I love this new me and I feel so free to be this.
Okay.
Great.
I have a problem, like I don't want to talk at all, and when I'm approaching people to for God's book or card, and approaching people means before approaching people I think a lot, and I can't initiate talking. I don't want to talk. Means in my office also I don't want to talk, in the road, in public place I just resist myself to buy things even from shop because I don't want to talk.
And you are in the profession of journalism.
Journalism. And this, I don't know how will I continue, but yeah, this is the problem. This is totally totally opposite.
When I started this phase of work after my in my business, I had structured that I don't need to talk much, and it was okay. But when I started into training and development, now this is purely about talking. And in spite of the fact that I was not comfortable, but I forced myself to do it. I can't say even today I am comfortable, but when I have to talk now, I can talk. And the moment I get an opportunity, I shrink back into my shell. So that is something you also have to develop the way I developed it, using your willpower and your commitment. Your commitment will be to deliver that report that you are collecting as a journalist or getting the other person's view. It will be easy when you focus less on yourself and more you focus on the person you are interviewing or person you are talking with. As long as you are focused on, am I looking good? Am I doing the job correct? Am I creating the right impression? Am I asking the right questions? You will not feel good. If you are like, what is it that person wants to say? What is it that person has to say? Your total interest becomes on that person. You will start noticing that your self-importance, self-image and self-interest, all these things will start coming down. And you will be able to talk easily. Because you are meeting a new person. And start becoming interested in that person as a person. What is he? How is he? What is he experiencing? What is his point of view? So become focused on that person instead of being focused on, am I doing it right? Am I asking it right? Am I making the right impression? As a journalist, you are not meant to make any impression. As a journalist, you are meant to get the other person's point of view. So focus on that. Are you giving that person space to express? And you will find it is becoming easy.
So then what to do with God's work when I want to
do not take God's work as a part of any mission. It has to happen spontaneously. Like you cannot start the day thinking today I will distribute 5 books. Not like that. Maybe for 10 days you have not distributed 1 book, and in 1 day you have distributed 10 books. So let it happen spontaneously. The books are with you, cards are with you. In the moment you feel like, let me give it.
Then in that moment I don't want to talk, like I can't initiate talking. I don't know why. I keep on releasing but it's not going.
Then remember that this thing might bring a lot of relief to that person. Focus on that. don't I want to give that person some relief from his pain? And you will find it easier to talk. Right now you are not able to talk because you are scared that person will reject you by rejecting the book or the card. But you are actually inviting that person. Would you like to take? In Bengali, you ask that, would you like to get some relief from your pain, suffering, or whatever that you can feel? Because you will feel that person is very tight, or has a lot of anxiety, has a lot of the brows are like tight, and he is worried. So when you see these kind of people, just like giving the healing card, why don't you talk with it for a few days and see if it helps you or not, if it allows you to relax. And then they will say, who is this? What it is this? Well, it doesn't matter, because the moment you try to explain, then it becomes very difficult. So you can just say, he is my friend, or this is my mentor, or this person has done a lot of whatever work. And if you want to know more, here is the website link, you can go there and read. But that is not important. What is important is just you talk to this card, whatever is your anxiety, concern, worry, and see if you feel a little relaxed. So yes, people will push back the book and push back the card, that is yes. But do not take that as they are judging you or rejecting you. It is just that they are not able to connect with the book and connect with the card. Those who connect with the book or connect with the card actually take it very gracefully. And not everyone is going to connect with the book or the card. So some of them will be like, no. And it is thank you. But that no was not to you. It was just to that product which they said, we don't feel it will contribute to my life, because they could not connect with it.
At that point of time, I feel that my communication skill is not good.
Your
limiting
communication
belief.
skill is only one thing. Give that person a smile before you move on. And wish him have a wonderful day. These are the only two communication skills. You don't need all those other communication skills. They are all nonsense. Those are all very smart, cunning talk. Just one smile and wishing have a good day is enough.
मेरा क्या 25 बुक्स मेरे घर पे था, बट कोई भी आएगा मेरा मन बोलता है इसको दे करके, तभी मैं अपना आप लेके आके देती हूँ सर. वो लोग भी लेता है, किसी को मत दे करके बोलता है मन. वो लोग कुछ प्रॉब्लम बोल के आएगा, फिर भी बोलता है इसको मत दे, तो मैं नहीं देती हूँ. तो प्रॉब्लम सुनेगा तो मेरा मन बहुत खराब हो जाता है सर. इसलिए कोई वो मेरा एक फ्रेंड है, वो बोलती है हमेशा शांति आऊं क्या पूछेगा तो मेरे को मालूम पड़ता है कुछ तो बोलने के लिए आ रही है. मैं बोलती है उसका टाइम देती हूँ, 2 बजे का बाद में आ जा. मैं तभी मेरा बोल देती हूँ, गॉड कुछ भी बोलने के लिए आ रही है, आप सुनो, मैं नहीं सुनेगी. आपको उसको जो कुछ करने का है आप करो, मैं नहीं करेगी, कुछ नहीं करेगी. क्योंकि कोई आके बोल के जाता है, फिर बाद में मेरे को बहुत नींद खराब हो जाता है सर, कुछ भी हो जाता है मेरा. तो वो आएगी, 2 बजे आएगी, बेल बजने का पहले भी बोलती हूँ, आ गई सुनो. सच्ची सर, वो आके बोलेगी, मैं बोलते रहती हूँ, सुनो अब कोई बोल रहा है, मेरा नहीं बोल रहा, मेरे को नहीं बोल रहा है, आपको ही बोल रहा है, सुनो करके बोलते रहती हूँ सर. तो बाद में सच्ची मेरे को वो क्या बोली मेरा माइंड में बिल्कुल नहीं. फिर बाद में बोलती हूँ कॉफी पिएगा, बोलती है हाँ, बोलती है कॉफी पीने जाती है. सच्ची मेरे को कुछ भी याद नहीं है. उसको पहले से आती थी, ये कभी से हुआ पता नहीं है मेरे को. वो पहले से आती थी, मैं बोलता था इतना मदर-इन-लॉ इतना बेकार है, ऐसा बोलती थी, तो ऐसा कर वैसा कर बोलती थी. फिर अचानक ऐसा एक दिन मेरा ये हो जाता था, मैं बोली वो 2 बजे आ करके, मैं तभी से बोलने को चालू किया, तो आ जाओ सुनो करके। अभी क्या हुआ, उनका घर पे घर तोड़ रहा है, उसका मदर इन लॉ को दूसरा किधर घर में भेज दिया, 6 महीने से आ रही है, कुछ बोलती नहीं है उसके बारे में।
ओके,
क्यों ऐसा होता है सर?
सब कुछ होता है,
किया रहेगा ना उसको।
ऐसा होता है कि हो तो रहा है।
मैं वो वही बोलेगी करके, दूसरा कोई उठा के डायरेक्ट फोन से कुछ बोलने के लिए चालू करेगा तो मेरा मन दुख होता है, फिर तब भी बोलने को नहीं होता है गॉड सुनो करके, वो प्रिपेयर करना पड़ता है सर पहले।
दैट इज नाइस कि आप गॉड को बोल देते हो कि आप सुनो।
हाँ, आप सुनो। मेरे सिंगापुर में एक जगह में बैठा था, एक लेडी थी, वो आई टू आई देखा, मेरे मन में बोला कार्ड दे उसको करके, तो मैं कार्ड निकाल के दिया उसको। वो किधर लंदन से आई थी, वो किधर, फिर थोड़ा टाइम बात किया, कार्ड एक्सेप्ट किया, गई वो।
गुड,
बहुत अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस।
मतलब जो लोग रिजेक्ट कर देते हैं, जैसे बुक दिया, कार्ड दिया और दिन से नहीं हमें नहीं चाहिए, तो ऐसे क्यों होता है? मतलब बहुत बुरा लगता है ना।
बुरा आपको इसलिए लगता है बिकॉज यू आर टेकिंग इट पर्सनल। इट्स अ पर्सनल रिजेक्शन, इट इज़ अ पर्सनल इनवैलिडेशन, इट इज़ अ पर्सनल there is something wrong with me, it is a personal, I did not say the right words, I should have talked like this, I should have understood that this person is not going to accept it. So we have a lot of self judgment.
तो मेरे को सेल्फ जजमेंट नहीं, मुझे ये लगता है कि क्या यार तुम एक बार ट्राई तो कर लो, तुम इतने घिरे हुए हो इतने दुख से, इतने प्रॉब्लम से। I mean, I get frustrated and irritated with them. It's not self judgment. मेरी फैमिली में भी जब प्रॉब्लम होगा तो कॉल करेंगे, बड़ी दीदी प्लीज देख लो। जब मैं बोलूँगी कुछ कर लो, 1 दिन करेंगे, 2 दिन करेंगे, फिर छोड़ देंगे। Then now I've stopped offering any releasing or anything. मैं बोलती ही नहीं कि अच्छा मैं कर देती हूँ। So
Yeah, we just do it once or twice and then we do not allow them to become dependent on us.
Sir, maybe we release on us again, being an empath.
Being an empath is nothing wrong, but getting identified with others' story.
हाँ तो सर उनको
Buying others-
frustration और irritation हो रहा है ना।
Basically, you are buying others' story,
Yeah.
and that is what is not needed.
Sir, I have a question, sir. I personally going through lot of boredom and बहुत resist कर रही हूँ मैं इस boredom को। मतलब every day I get up and try to make a plan to come out of this boredom.
Do not make a plan to come out of the boredom. Instead, make a plan to do something that will forward either you or to someone else.
Okay. So there
When I
was a
say you,
हाँ जी।
it means you are able to either learn something or you are able to acquire certain skills,
Okay.
or you are able to create, because you are in the creation business.
Yes,
You
sir.
are able to create something.
Yes, sir.
You are able to take it across to the market, because that also you need to learn.
Yes, sir.
So work on these things.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, boredom is always going to be there in life.
Okay, sir.
The moment you focus on it, it blows up like a balloon.
True, sir.
But the moment you ignore it, it shrinks.
Yes, sir.
But how can you ignore it? Is by focusing on certain work. If no other work, you're just picking up some cloth and just cleaning your house.
Yes, sir. That's all I'm doing these days.
So
Yeah.
that is how you kind of do not allow the boredom to become a big demon in your life.
And then how she says judgment comes, पहले तो बहुत God का काम हो रहा था, अभी कोई books नहीं जा रहे, अभी कुछ मंत्र नहीं हो रहा, तो then go into the wrongness of as an identity.
God ka काम will happen in bursts.
Okay.
Suddenly it will happen a lot and suddenly it will shrink.
Yes, sir. Like that. True.
So it will not be consistent.
Okay.
and you cannot say that every day I will deliver this many cards, this many books. No, it is not. Then what will happen is too much of rejections will come.
True, sir.
So it is spontaneously. Like some people say, should I go and give the book there? That means you are figuring it out.
Yes, sir.
Best is not to figure out. Just keep the book and card with you. Maybe you are not giving it for 1 month to anyone, and suddenly it will come. कि इनको एक दे दो.
Thank you, sir. A while ago you mentioned that God's work happens very spontaneously, right? So regarding the research on God's work that we basically were taking up, so research requires consistent effort every day, and उसमें spontaneity का थोड़ा सा scope कम रहता है because you have to give like few hours every day for a good research to happen. So when the proposal was made, and I shared that with you as well, I was attacked and I got a really bad viral जिसके आपने multiple releases भी करे थे, and I got well. The thing is, I'm sort of worried and a little scared for continuous attacks on me because I'm doing God's work through research. And I know that whoever takes up this research will also be attacked, right? And research is not like a 1 day or a 2 day thing जो आपने किसी को books दे दिए या healing cards दे दिए. It's basically a long and a continuous journey. This probably might take even a year or maybe 2 years. Data collection में, analysis में, and everything. So how do we go about doing a research जहाँ पे you're continuously being attacked? And even let's just say we happen to have other PhD scholars are also with us working in the same sort of project. They will also be attacked, and they probably, you know, कोई चीज़ें अगर बहुत सारी, if we have something to do, there will be a lot of obstacles for that. So जो चीज़ for example 1 महीने में होनी थी वो 2 महीने में या 3 महीने में होगी. That causes a lot of demotivation because research is very, it tests your patience really. So in those times, how do we go about this? Because it's really not 1 day job.
How you are doing the research? I just want to get a sense of what you are doing.
So currently, like I said, the research on God is on a back burner for now. But generally, research requires, of course, a lot of literature review.
That is, you are talking about the general thing.
Yes.
But right now, is there any research happening around God?
No, sir. The proposal was made, was shared with you, and that's exactly when I got the attack because I was supposed to meet a senior professor to discuss the research, and I got a very bad viral, and then I had to also contact you for releases, which happened. But that sort of kind of scared me. कि इतनी बुरी तरह I'm attacked. Viral generally सबको होता है, and we have 5 day का thing, but this was really intense. So I knew what was happening to me and why was this happening to me. And although I volunteered for this work, and this is also my job profile. I'm a professor, so I'm also supposed to do research. I'm not denying or escaping research. But the thing is, this is also not wanting me to do research on this. So वो चाह के भी मैं मुझे थोड़ा सा वो एक resistance है. How do I go about this?
The problem with God's work and research is this, that research basically wants to come to a conclusion. Okay? Unfortunately, with God's work, there is no conclusion. So this is the first paradox. The second paradox is you are trying to quantify God's work within certain structure. Again, God does not follow any structure. So anything that you quantify within a structure itself will go against God's work. Third thing, the research basically is about, we do not say God, what we say is a card. Okay? So this is a product. Like it can be a gemstone, it can be a rudraksh, it can be a geometric object. In this case, it is just a card with a face. So what we are looking into is whether this card with a face has it. You're okay? What we are looking at is this card with a face delivers anything or not. That's what we are looking at. And it doesn't need to be very either time consuming or laborious, for the simple reason that we are first taking a profile of a person who has come to us in terms of their psychological parameters. So that you already know how to do that. Then you are giving that card and you are asking that person to only check it for 30 days. You are not giving them any counseling, you are not giving them any medicine, you are not giving them any kind of therapy. All you are giving is just talk to this card for 30 days about all your issues. At the end of 30 days, you are now again going back to those parameters in which we checked, and is there a shift in those parameters. Now you will know how to record those shifts. It's something like someone goes to a therapy and again you are checking. So instead of therapy, it is just the card with a face. We don't even say God's card because that might put off people. So all we say, here is a card with a face. It doesn't matter whose face this belongs to. Just talk to the card and see. So you are not even promoting that card and the face. It is just that you are saying one product which is delivering these shifts. Maybe there are no shifts, maybe there are great shifts. Your job is not really to make shift happen. Your job is to without having any interest in it, to take it either way, you are just an observer noting down the symptoms earlier, now, and coming to a conclusion. The card has made a difference, it has not made a difference, it has aggravated the symptoms, and if it has done that, if you can quantify either the relief or the aggravation, so that a person subsequently looking at that research can get a sense of how this product has contributed or damaged that person. So this is all the research is. I don't see really a lot of work in that place.
Sir, actually, yeah, ideally, when you see on paper, it looks easy, but when you go actually on the field and try to contact people, do data collection, you will obviously have a lot of dropouts, because 30 days long continuously to, record their journey is also something which takes a little time.
You generally get people who come to your institute, or you have to go out and catch hold of people?
So that depends on the kind of sample that we are sort of looking at. So that could be just maybe the students in the college, or maybe just the people around you in general. So that's just a sample. I also understand what you just said, but what I'm trying to sort of understand, or at least take some guidance from you, is to the denying forces, the obstacles that keep happening while you're doing a research. Especially when they also know that's a God's work, because अगर हम conclusion में ले आएंगे, this is scientific, or not even science, this is also a scientific way to show that this works.
The work that you're doing is scientific.
Exactly.
What is behind that product is non-scientific.
Correct.
So we are not even questioning that product.
Right.
We are saying this is a healing card. That is how we are presenting it.
Right.
The face doesn't matter.
Right.
And this being a healing card, give us a feedback of what shifts in your life.
But I'm actually, sir, I'm sort of reluctant to pursue this research because of the denying forces.
Now you are saying denying forces.
Yes.
But there are also the force of grace.
That's true.
When you work with the card, both are available.
Yeah.
Because you are focusing on the denying force, you are also pushing away the force of grace from your life.
Yeah, maybe I am sort of really fixated with the negativity.
And it is like the coin comes with both the sides. And since the coin comes with both the sides, why should we be so scared?
Correct. Yeah, makes
so
sense.
look into it from that perspective.
I got that God's will is sometimes don't give that book. Don't do that. Put your life together And now when I hear you say, that when you focus on denying forces, there are two sides of the coin, it makes a lot of sense. But my question is that, is it true that sometimes God will say, don't do God's work?
Yes, God will say that. Number one, why God will say is, if you are trying to, if you are not taking care of your own self, financially, physically, emotionally, and using God's work as an escapism, then God will tell you, stop doing that.
So God
That is-
balance कर देते हैं, अपने आप balance कर देते हैं.
That is number one. Number two, if you are trying to get any kind of personal validation from doing God's work, again God will say, don't do it. Because this is not about you are doing something good. In God's work, it is like this, that God says, since I am around, I am willing to support people in terms of giving them some relief. But not in a missionary way, not in terms of making it a cult, not in terms of making it something which is not even an organization. So God doesn't want any structure to come up in this work. Each individual is a structure and complete unto themselves. And there is no connection with the other one, even though they may know each other. Both are working independently. Maybe they sometimes come together on a certain event called this exhibition, but each one is still doing the work on their own. There is no group work.
Wow.
The moment you try to make it a group work and a structured work, suddenly you will find it difficult. Because God's work is spontaneous, God's work is just with God and no one else.
Amazing.
So it's just you and God. There cannot be your friend, your family, your those other GFT participants, none of them. And so many a times when some people say whether I and that person will go and distribute the card, many a time God says don't. And then what happens is God says, you go alone, let that other person go alone. Because God doesn't want you to create any kind of, as if we are doing a missionary work.
Sir, also what you said to her, denying forces and God's
Grace of God.
grace, the more the denying force, the more the God grace, the more the denying forces.
Of course, they both will go. The more grace will come to you, more denying force will come to you.
So every time I try and go for a book reading, I get severely ill and I can never manage a book reading.
These are going to happen, and so take it in your stride. Which means, okay, I am not going to do anything for next 1 week till I recover completely. And once you have recovered completely, again, maybe you restart.
So also, is it like, is this also part of God that even before I'm asked, going to check yes or no, the thought will already pop up, yes, no, yes, no. Is that from the mind or?
That you have to check with the rod. Generally, the first thought is from God, generally. And then the mind takes over.
Right. So very often, even before I formulate to check with the rod, the thought will come up, yes, no. And then I'm saying, is this going to influence my rod?
It is possible that it will influence the rod.
So then what do I do?
Then drop it at that point of time.
And then
Come back to it later.
okay, because I've already got that yes, no. So that moment I should stop.
Try to be aware which one came first.
The thought. Which thought came first? Okay.
So just
And
one.
then recheck that after some time, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Because it happens all the time. I'm
want to check and the thought will come yes or no. It will just pop.
Okay.
So just one comment on the same thing. For me,
The mic is here, no?
my,
Acha.
for me, my experience is that if I'm doing my muscle testing, in the initial phases, let's say for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I get the right response. Then the mind starts prompting, and I'm aware that before I'm testing the muscle, maybe this is the answer. So then I drop the muscle testing, I take the rod, and in the rod, the mind is much more quieter. Because
That is your experience?
Yeah, it doesn't have so much control over the muscles.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so I always go back to the rod to reconfirm what I've seen from the muscle.
So others have heard you, so
Yeah.
they will decide how is their
I
experience.
have the same experience.
You have the same experience? Okay. So everyone get it as the more God is with you, the more denying forces will attack you.
So we can think otherwise also. If the denying force attack, God's grace will come.
No, it may not be the other way. No.
That you have to ask, that you have to release, then God arrives, no? Because you have to choose God every time.
Which is, yes, you have to choose, because the moment denying forces come in, the mind says, I think it's better I stop doing this work.
Yeah, exactly.
Now what you are saying in another way, it's better I let go of God. The moment you say, well, I stop doing this work, you are also indirectly saying, let me let go of God.
No, but in that moment, if you check with God, like you said just
Check
now.
with
that,
God is a different thing, and your mind saying that let me stop it,
Yeah.
they are two different things.
Yeah, exactly. That is a very beautiful, yeah.
If all of you look into your life, none of you are more miserable than what you were before you came to God. So,
Much better, sir. Sir, much better, sir.
And we know where the misery comes from.
Sir, much better, sir.
That's a big deal.
and if that is so, then where is the question of how did the denying force make your life miserable?
But why did you ask me that you can try and leave God,
Because you are complaining so much. God is doing, you are so focused on the denying part of it.
But we have become so used to the ease and peace कि थोड़ा भी होता है ruffle तो हम attack. Actually, it's not that. It's just that we are used to that ease and peace. And somewhere, even when this happens, a little ruffle happens, God's way is so, it's so great that we get ushered back to God. So we are in that space of God, and that is what in the end matters. बोलते जला लो कुछ भी कर लो लेकिन आपसे दूर मत करो और यही बहुत
Sir,
So for everyone it is a message that first thing, if you get scared of the denying forces, you are going to push away God. Because you are saying, I don't want the denying forces. Well, denying forces are going to show up when God shows up. The second thing is, in spite of the denying forces, your life is much better. I am not saying much better in terms of less problems. I am saying much better in terms of your experience of life. Which means the experience, you have certain freedom, you have certain awareness, you have certain clarity, you have certain way of seeing how people are trapped in various things which you are now no more. Because of these things, they have come to you because of God. And if they have come to you because of God, the other forces have also come because of God. But they have not kind of destroyed you. They make your life difficult, but they don't destroy you. Because if you get destroyed, then you can complain that now I am much worse than before I came to this workshop.
Sir, we have this experience that mostly we are able to come out of it, right?
Yeah,
So,
yes.
what is the problem?
Yeah, over a period of time we notice that things are not that bad, which earlier seemed to be horrible.
Yeah.
But it just, we allow a few days to pass. And then we are again back.
So isn't it that just because we've become more aware, things were happening earlier also, probably attacks and all. It's just that now we are more aware. So we keep on saying, okay, attacks are happening, or you become scared. They were all the time there. It's just that we are more aware and now even better equipped because God's grace is there on us.
Yes, everything was happening earlier also. And because we were not aware of it, it seemed that now it is happening more.
So,
That is number one. And number two, we do have a few phrases with which we do get relief, if not 100%, at least more than 50%.
Yeah, much more.
So is it right to think that when even after releases you're not getting any results? Is it because it is supposed to be a part of your storyline and you just probably go and accept it? How do you do?
Mainly what happens is God says when the denying forces are relentless in their attacking, God doesn't try to stop them.
Oh.
Because God is not in a direct conflict or fight with them. And because God is not stopping them, what happens is we feel our releases are not working. So God will come back in a different way at a different time. And then we have to go through. Because the denying forces generally does not pursue more than a few days. They are ongoing attacks. They don't happen more than a few days.
Why is that? They can keep going on, no?
They can keep going on, but generally they don't. Because if they keep going on, the structure is they will destroy the body mind, and that body mind will not create the food for the king.
पर अभी उनको पता है कि ये food तो नहीं बन रहा है.
But still that whole structure continues.
There's a structure, right.
So within that structure, they will hit you up to a point, but they cannot destroy you.
Yeah, मतलब कि
Which means after a few days, they have to step back.
like that insanity thing you say, no? कि if you go insane, then
Yeah.
there is no food. Yeah.
If you become insane, there's no food. If you become totally depressed, 100%, no food.
Yeah.
So that drama has to keep on happening.
And that is their programming.
Yeah. When they step back, then again God steps in. So sometimes this happens that we don't get instant results.
When they
So
step
also
back,
the
then
stomach has become
God
very
steps in and does
sensitive.
miracles. That's what you had said once.
Stomach will become very sensitive for the simple reason that we now have what we call it energies which are very refined. And because they are very refined, you will find that you will not be able to eat many of the food which earlier you were able to eat. So you have to be careful. The food has to be freshly cooked. The food has to be easily digestible. The food has to have very less preservatives, very less spices. So in short, I'm just saying you cannot be like before. When you have God energy 24/7 with you, your food also is going to
Food is becoming when you give card to people, so even though you would tell them you don't have to have trust, but then there are people who
you don't have to
have trust to
trust. Achha, okay.
just try it for 30 days. But there are a lot of people who would just talk about whatever I trust in it, I believe in God, and so for them God is always about temple or mosque or whatever. So how do you actually explain them, you don't have to have trust and just try?
This is a healing card, number one. Number two, it doesn't matter who is in it, what is in it. Just give it a try. Like you would give it a try, let's say to what are certain things people give it a try if they want to feel good. Like a cup of tea. When you feel down, you take a cup of tea. Or you take a piece of chocolate. So something like that brings up your mood. But we are not talking about that exactly. But what we are saying is, don't create the report card before 30 days. People have a habit. Oh, you gave me a healing card. Right now I have got a headache. Let me see. Okay, all the headache that I am having. No, nothing has shifted. This doesn't work. It's not that. It's not a quick fix.
So how do you actually bring them out of the thought process that whatever you're going to be asking, it is not going to deliver that?
It is not going to deliver that, but watch what it is delivering. That is the beauty of the card. It will not give you what you want, but see what is the card going to give you. But you can only know that after 30 days. Don't prepare a report card right now. Use the word report card. Don't create a report card right now. Give the card 30 days time and it will not give you what you want. So at least now they are relaxed. That it is not giving me what I want, fine, but let me continue to use it for 30 days.
So is it okay to say
Right.
Paramatma ki grace? I say Paramatma.
Don't, if you want to say, but best is this is a healing card. We are delivering God to them without telling them this is God. Because the moment we say this is God, Konsa God, my God is in that, now is a lot of conversations which is so difficult to handle.
So, but in my experience, when I say Paramatma ki kripa hai isme, God ki grace hai, they accept it very well.
Then be with it. Be guided in that moment how they are going to take. Sometimes Paramatma is welcomed. Sometimes the word God is welcomed. Sometimes the word healing card is welcomed. So just every options I am giving. In the moment you will be guided. When looking at that person, and basically it is not about healing card, God or Paramatma. It's about आपको थोड़ा सा राहत मिलेगा. और आप यहाँ पे कोई 500,000 रुपया आपसे मैं नहीं ले रहा हूँ. मैं सामने से एक छोटा सा कार्ड दे रहा हूँ जो आपके जेब में रख सकते हैं.
Sir, with respect to the trust which she was mentioning, Sonia. So, mostly, sir, whenever I talk about the example of gravity.
Gravity, okay.
So when I say कि मतलब कि suppose if I say कि I don't trust in gravity, and if I jump from the second floor, but it does not matter. I am going to fall. It is not that I am going to remain in there. So gravity is not dependent on my belief or trust or faith.
It's there.
So if there is something like God, then it doesn't also have to be dependent on my faith belief. And every time I've said this thing, always I've got a response. It makes sense. So that way people suddenly see it in a different light. Okay, this is the. So with respect to if someone's BMC is more inclined towards say these qualities like empathy, as people call, if someone is empath or compassion, or so they have always been doing certain things out of those inclinations.
Okay.
So when suppose if I am such a person and if I happen to do God's work, then I also tend to flow in that. So how do I make that distinction that when is it something which is coming from my mind and when is it something which is coming from the God's work?
You see, if someone is very emotional, they will bring their emotions in God's work. For me, I was not emotional. I brought in reasoning in God's work, rationality. And then there would be people who are very instinctive. They will bring their instincts into God's work. So every BMC will take this work or do this work in their unique ways. And whatever they are doing is the right way that they are doing. So if an empath brings in their feelings, their emotions into the work, that is right. Person like me cannot say you are doing wrong. You should do it the way I do. No. The way I do is for me. The way you are doing is for you. You cannot copy me, I cannot copy you. So I will not give you any kind of explanation that whether they are doing it right or wrong. I would say they are doing it right. But problem with the empaths is they can get hurt easily. So while they have the advantage of connecting, they also have the disadvantage of taking on others' pain, which comes as the rejection or the other person speaking harsh words to us. So along with the benefit, also the other part comes in. People like me who doesn't reach out to people totally, I am always guarded. So neither I can reach out to them fully, but at the same time they cannot hurt me. Whereas the empath can really connect. So again, my advantage is also my disadvantage. So this is the way it happens.
So can I?
So sir, I've seen some statements that regarding being an empath and releasing on them. So is it like advisable to, or is it possible even to release
If
on
an
that?
empath is taking on a lot of pain,
Yes,
then that releasing is to be done with, so that God brings some balance into their life. Again, for me, I have to again release that I am so guarded in connecting with people, because this is too strong in me. I don't want to get hit back, and so my firewall is always up, my armor is always up. So each person has their own, what do I call it, not forte, like
uniqueness.
Quality.
a state of being out of balance. So empaths have their out of balance, I have my out of balance. The instinctive people, they have their out of balance. So we just bring our balance a little bit more, and we pray to God that may I have your grace in this area. Right?
So,
Yes.
so can I?
So sir,
Sorry, can I just add? So can we flip it the other way? The way what I was looking at it is that we all are individual, unique, connected with God, and God is making use of what we have. And I was referring to it like in a corporate word also, that what we look for is that you should become this or you should become that. Rather, God is showing us that what is good in you, I'll use that. What is good in her, I'll use that, and God's work happens that way.
First thing is, God uses everyone, but God does not use everyone to create a disadvantage for that person.
Right.
The disadvantage shows up through the denying forces. That part is separate.
Yes.
We are talking about the nature of the BMC. The nature of the BMC here is, God has used me in spite of being guarded. God has used others in our group in spite of they being an empath. So, that being so, we do not tell that God use me the way you are using that person. God will decide how to use me, when to use me, to what extent to use me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
sir, there was a discussion some time back in the group, in the release friends, regarding euthanasia. So euthanasia is like
Suicide.
So, so what is your view of regarding that? Is it, where does it?
When I ask God about that, God has no issue with it. Because God says whether you die today or you die after 10 years or 50 years, what difference does it make? No one is going to have another life. This is the last life. There is no such thing as karmic baggage. So it's like, I have a karmic baggage called that I have huge pain and I want to escape that pain. Normally it would have rolled over to the next lifetime. But now there is no next life.
But sir, still you
But at the same time, God is not saying that you do suicide. God is very clear, you won't be able to do unless it is in your storyline. Even this mercy killing has to be a part of your storyline. Otherwise something will go wrong. First thing, it is not allowed, but even if you go to certain countries where that is legally allowed, something will go wrong.
So what is, from your vantage point, how do you see, the whole world, happening? अभी मतलब कि कुछ उसके बारे में कह सकते हैं आप?
You are looking into it from a point of how this work is happening in the whole world. How do I look into it? I'll tell you. I just don't look at the work happening. I'm purely focused on what do you want me to do today.
Wow. Amazing.
Rest is your area.
Yeah.
Because you will come in some person and make something happen. I have no idea how many person's body you are entering and making it happen. Why should I break my head?
Yeah.
I'm purely concerned today what I need to do.
Amazing.
And that is why I do not look into how much the work is happening. First thing, I have no way to know. I get a few feedbacks from you all, but those feedbacks are less than 0.001% of the whole work happening.
नहीं, but जैसे आप कह रहे थे that now some souls are deciding कि वो फिर से attract हो रहे हैं, you know, and therefore the work for humans is becoming more important because if the humans decide, you know, so sometimes some ऐसा insights come.
Which is true, but at the same time, if the humans don't decide and the souls remain back, God has no issue, because the passage is open. Whenever they want, they can now go back.
Oh.
So if today they want to play the game of creation for another whatever number of years, it doesn't. God has no issue. Passage is open.
अभी खुला है, कल खुला होगा या नहीं क्या पता?
नहीं. God says it will remain
Now
open.
it will remain open. Oh, wow. Yeah.
So God is not worried about that.
अभी तो
As far as God is concerned, that work
काम
is
हो
over.
गया. हाँ, अभी सिर्फ humans.
But yes, if the humans choose, the soul will go back right now.
And sir, is it true that, you know, because humans are basically victims. I mean, in one word, human is a victim.
Yes.
Right? I mean, there's no other word for it, right? And now, God having completed the work that God wanted to do for His children, which are the souls, you know, would it be accurate to say that क्योंकि वो दो शख्सों के बीच में जो खेल हुआ जिसके ह्यूमन विक्टिम बने, तो अभी गॉड उसके कारण, you know, maybe that's why God is also like providing relief till whenever He feels He can provide relief to these, you know,
To the humans?
To the humans. Yeah.
God says, I am willing to provide healing to the humans, but there are certain restrictions. The first restriction is storyline.
Yeah.
The second restriction is the human wants relief in terms of events happening, and God says, I cannot touch that. I can give you relief in terms of your experience of life, but the human says, this doesn't interest me. You give me relief by taking paying off my debt, by getting my marriage done, by taking me to America or wherever they want to do. This is what the humans want,
Yeah, yeah.
and they don't get that.
Yeah.
The third thing is the denying forces. If the denying forces are too much, if it is less, the human experiences healing pretty fast. If the denying forces are too much, they don't get the healing too fast. That's why God says, give it a try for 30 days. Something you will notice, but do not notice in the area where you want. Notice overall in your life.
Overall.
And there you will find the shift.
Yes.
Huh?
To God.
Oh yes, many people are coming back to God, but I have noticed people who come back to God, they are not able to connect the way they were able to connect when the first time they connected with God. This is what I am noticing. Because some guilt remains in them. And some regret remains in them. And it is still not the same when the first time came in from a place of curiosity. Now somewhere they feel they made a mistake and they are coming back. They feel that they shouldn't have left. So these are the things which doesn't allow them to come like before.